my song. Let's sing it. It's gonna be fucking awesome. Come on, it's gonna be fucking awesome. You know the words. It's gonna be fucking awesome. That's insane. It's gonna be fucking awesome. Yeah!
Hello, hello, hello. Howdy, howdy, howdy. It is Tuesday, and it is Animation Day on Coolest Alive. I'm your host, Jesse Blaze Snyder, and I fucking love you. Thanks so much for listening to my show. And, you know, I'm one of those people who kind of grew up being misunderstood his whole life and really feeling, misunderstood. I mean, it's just really the best word. You know, just people really got me wrong all the time. I love people, and I love entertainment. I love music. I love comic books. I love storytelling. You know, and I just really believe that everybody has a unique gift to offer, you know, and that, like, I want to see it. I want to experience your unique gift, whatever it is. You know, I want to make sure that you guys are pursuing your passions. So if there's any chance that, you know, there's something inside you that matters, that would be worth seeing, that I get to see it, I want to see it. And, you know, this show, over the years, you know, now, as we've been doing this for a while, it's just really helped me to, I don't know, get some people to know me really intimately. And it's really nice. What's going to make me cry? It's really nice, the messages and stuff that I'll get sometimes, you know, for the show. You can always write to me, JBS at blacklightdistrict.studio. You know, I just got like a nice compliment that just stuck with me, because it's what I hope you guys notice, you know, because when I was a kid, so often my confidence, you know, right, I called myself the coolest man alive, which is, it's just a silly thing that's meant to lift me up for myself in my own mind. It's like to give myself something to aspire to be, because the coolest man alive isn't about me. Oh, I'm so cool, everybody else isn't cool. Coolest man alive is actually about being cool towards people, being kind to people, you know, caring about them, noticing things, holding doors open for people, throwing out the garbage that's right next to the garbage can. You know, anything that you can do, you do it. That's what, for me, the coolest man alive means. Granted, you know, you say that out loud, and then all of a sudden it's like, he thinks he's the coolest man alive, you know. And I had somebody write to me and say something to the effect of, you know, Jesse, you're a really interesting person. He's like, a lot of the creative people in the, like, entertainment media space, they really love themselves and, like, are speaking up themselves all the time. You know, it's like, partially it's a necessity, so we understand. They have a small company, they have a platform, they're trying to grow it. You know, my company, Blacklight District Studio, you know, every opportunity that we have to go, oh yeah, go look at this stuff. Like, that's why I'm here. Ultimately, I'm here because I make things like this. And, you know, and perhaps if we get on the same page about all the things we like, you'll be like, oh, well, maybe Jesse's making things that we like, you know? So there's a little bit of, like, just kind of built into what we're doing, that, like, why we're here is to propagate the passion that we have in the entertainment world. And this person said, but unlike most of the other people, you love and celebrate other people too. You really genuinely, passionately, you know, think a lot of things are great, and are very happy to be like, oh, I think that's great. I think that person's great. I think this is great. And if that seems familiar to you, me going, great, 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 maybe you've noticed. You know, that's all I do here on Coolest Alive, Monday through Friday. I just want to tell you about all the stuff that I think is great. And I've tried to absorb as much of this great stuff as I possibly could, whatever, so that I can be better at what, you know, I do as a creative person. And it's really a great segue to this too, because for a long time, I would say that I resisted getting into manga and anime. And I will actually say I've still largely resisted getting into manga. Not that it's going to be like that for forever. Like, I am open. There's some that I am open to, and I'm going to read them eventually. As I used to tell people, oh man, I have so many hobbies already, and, like, I don't have any room for another one. But over the years, as I got rid of some of the hobbies that I had, you know, for a little while, I think I talked about it yesterday on Monday's show, that there was a moment where I wasn't really hobbying as much, and my children and, you know, a girlfriend here, there, or whatever, you know, like, they would recommend some anime. And I slowly, have like built a little list of anime things that I really quite like. And actually, it was a couple years ago that me and my son started watching One Punch Man. And I really quite liked it, but I didn't go back to, I never got a chance to go back to watch it. And now my son is about to watch the third season, and he's like, "Are you caught up on One Punch Man?" And I went, "Oh, no. So this last weekend, he and I were catching up, and last night, I finally caught up on the first season. I actually got to watch the second season this year, but I really love it. I really, really like it. And I don't know, I think it's worth with some of these anime things, coming back around to it a couple times for some of the audience out there who are like me, who didn't necessarily grow up with anime, like, that kind of came around later, or at least like the proliferation of it came around later. And then, we were kind of like the odd man out, go, "Oh yeah, that's good. Okay." Occasionally checking out some things, but mostly also, if we weren't drawn to it in the first place, there was probably a reason. But eventually, as things were recommended over and over and over again, you come around. Like, I'm a big Chainsaw Man fan. I fucking love that show. That's on my list. We'll eventually talk about that one. But One Punch Man is really great. And the thing that kind of keeps, I think, a lot of traditional superhero fans away from it is that the designs are not great. I had reached out to Aaron Sparrow, one of my besties, after finishing the series, and I was like, "You would really like One Punch Man." And he just immediately went, "I never really liked the design." And the design, because of the nature of the show, which is like stupid, it's very simple. It's very funny. I don't even know exactly how to describe it and the humor. I mean, it is very, very funny. Me and my son just constantly, just like, this crazy things will happen on the show. We just kind of look at each other and smile like, this is so ridiculous. I mean, especially because the show is like a Shaggy Dog story. The main character is One Punch Man. So the question is he going to take him out again with one punch? And the answer is basically always, yeah, So it becomes this thing of like, what can they say? What can they do? What can happen leading up to him laying down that punch to give the audience any doubt whatsoever that One Punch Man is going to take him out with one punch? And I mean, and it really becomes comical over time. And even like just the simplicity of even One Punch Man becoming, there's a scale within the superhero thing that they're doing, where they've got what are the heroes are level, the highest level is S, and then it's level A, level B, and level C. And then there's rankings within the levels. And One Punch Man is obviously the main ranking guy. But of course, he gets put into the rankings really low because he does very badly on the written test. So he ends up getting like a perfect score on the physical stuff and then like terrible for the written test. He makes it onto the team, but he makes it into the C-list tier where he is so far above everybody in that tier, it's not even fucking funny. And just the egos involved with who's higher on the tier and who, it's so funny. This show is so funny. I wish I could encapsulate it better. we're going to talk about it in just a little bit. But first, if you didn't listen to yesterday's show, Monday was Dee Snider's original motion picture soundtrack for his film Strangeland. I was actually the music supervisor. I was credited as the music consultant, but I was the music supervisor. I picked 90% of the music on that soundtrack, which is acclaimed and considered to be one of the quintessential 90s crossover, industrial, new metal, 90s metal, 2000s metal soundtracks ever. It's so great. I'm so proud of it. At the time, we called a bunch of bands that were not famous but would be famous within 6 months or a year of our releasing the soundtrack. And I'm not saying that that's our fault that they blew up. I'm sure that we helped to some degree. But I said, this band's great. They're going to be huge. And most of them turned out to be huge. Talked about it yesterday. Slightly longer episode. It's an 18-track soundtrack to the song. I usually play like 3 songs, but I played a little bit more and talked about it a little bit more because there was some good stories. Tomorrow, we're going to be back with comic books for Wednesday like we usually do. I've got a shitload of comics that I've been reading. I'm having so much fun. I've been out of reading comics for so long, and finally, I've gotten into the rhythm, and I'm actually like knocking out a comic or 2 every day. It feels really, really great. I'm starting to feel like my old self again. As soon as I start listening to new music, like figuring out how to squeeze in new music and not just stuff that I already like, then we'll know Jesse is like in full out mode. He's watching TV he likes, he's watching animation he likes, he's reading comics he likes, he's listening to new music. So anyway, my health is getting better and better from all the reading, and there's a shitload of cool things I'm recommending. But for now, on Wednesday, so I'm hitting my lamp. On Wednesday, we're going to be talking about The Other Dead, which is a really cool zombie animals comic book put out by IDW a few years back. They had a very famous Obama cover because Obama was like featured. The president was one of the main characters. Anyway, that's cool. Thursday, we got the new Wes Anderson film, The Phoenician Scheme, which I loved. I had heard some good things about it, but I feel like Wes Anderson can be a little hit or miss. I really like Fantastic Mr. Fox. There's certain movies that he's done that I really, really like, and this is one of them. Really, I love Benicio del Toro. He's excellent. Great cast, really well shot, really just heartfelt kind of thing. Talk about that on Thursday. And then Friday, I want to do another YouTube channel. There are so many great YouTube channels who are really, as far as I'm concerned, they're doing fucking God's work right now. With all the Epstein files and all of this shit going on, there are certain people like who I talked about, The Mind Unleashed last week. They've been doing lots of great deep dives into cloning and the fucking DNA shit, all the really fucking weirdo sci-fi shit that's going on in these files. And this other lady that I'm going to talk about, That Surprise Witness, on Friday, she is a former lawyer, and she has a channel dedicated to sort of investigating some of this crazy shit, legal shit that gets done to these celebrities as they're 5150'd and declared like they can't control their own money and all this shit's taken out of them. Well, through her investigating that system, she's just uncovered and exposed what's going on in the fucking system. It's crazy. She makes great videos, so many great subjects, and I really think she's got a great heart. I think when it comes to YouTube channels and YouTube people, podcast people, whatever, it's all about like, do I like them? Do I trust them? Do I believe that they're sincere in like what they're doing? She's a person that I think is really sincere and cool, so I want to help get the word out about her. On Saturday, I think we might be talking about One Battle After Another again. I'm not sure, but I think so. That's what I'm leaning towards. It won the Best Picture Oscar, and there's just so many things to say about this because I called this. Last year, at the end of the year, I said it was going to win Best Picture because it is exactly what they're looking for. And it's very strange what they're looking for. It's like in no other world, in this weird false reality, that's what they're looking for. And I guess Saturday we're going to fucking talk about that because it's crazy. If you're not listening to my Esoteric Wisdom Conspiracy podcast, Everything They Don't Want You to Know, every Sunday, you should. In this day and age, you need to be listening to somebody who is rationally looking at the fucking overwhelming amount of information that suggests we are living in a fucking simulation being controlled by evil at the tippy top, and we need to take the power back. If any of that sounds important to you, you should listen to Everything They Don't Want You to Know every Sunday. Also, monthly, we are returned. All your favorite bands suck everywhere except for Spotify right now. I came back with Grandson, who's one of my favorite modern artists, if not my favorite modern artist. Next up is going to be the Black Keys, probably coming in the next week or so. I'll get to that. Also, if you want to email me, jbs@blacklightdistrict.studio. That's it. Not so hard. We make comic books. We make music. They're all free at our website. Go check it out. You obviously like entertainment. I think you'll enjoy the entertainment that we make. Tons of shit. Free. Right now. blacklightdistrict.studio. Go. Do it. All right. So, we're talking about One Punch Man, Season 1. This released in 2015 from Madhouse Studios. The lead actors and all that stuff, these, Japanese and, dubbing and stuff like that. I mean, it's like, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter who these people are. But it is based on the webcomic by ONE. The manga was illustrated by Yusuke Murata. And there's music by Makoto Miyazaki, who is excellent. The music stuff is very cool. I don't even know how to describe it. It's a modern metal that's like kind of based on like classic kind of 80s metal rock. It's very interesting. Like the music a lot. It's one of the most streamed anime globally in 2015, 2016. Huge Blu-ray sales internationally, massive meme and internet popularity. Lots of merchandise and stuff being sold. Like I said, Aaron, me and him are big toy guys. He was like, "Yeah, I didn't like the designs," and I don't like the designs either. But again, the simplicity of the design, it plays into a lot of the humor. Like, one of the main jokes that is like an ongoing joke is that he's bald, and he's embarrassed of his baldness. He wasn't bald when he started. He trained so intensely that his hair fell out. and it's a sore subject for him. It's very funny. He has a number of minor egoic drives that sort of like, but they're very silly and petty, and not petty, even like just like silly, sweet. It's hard to describe this show. It really is one of the most unique things I've ever seen. The story, of course, follows the main character, Saitama, who is a superhero who can defeat any enemy with one punch, which is causing him this existential boredom. It's like, he doesn't want to. Often he's letting them beat him up for a while before, because one, it's just like half so that there's action, that the audience can see things. Oh, maybe they'll get him here, and then at a certain point he's like, all right, fuck it, I'm just gonna knock them out. I'm telling you, because once you embrace that premise, and then everything kind of builds around it in some really, really interesting ways. The show has a lot of heart too in some of the ways that it depicts people. As much as it'll depict people as sort of egotistical and self-involved, it'll then also occasionally get the people who are doing it for the right reasons, and it's got a lot of heart, this show. It's famous for top tier animation and fight choreography. The fights are amazing. The way the animation will change in a moment sometimes, and the shifts, it's like an anime where all of a sudden the so-and-so is very, very detailed and goes from like a simple animation to really, really, but it's great. Basically the whole show is just a satirization of superhero tropes and power scaling in anime, which is like, if you're a Dragon Ball Z fan, oh my God, it's all power scaling, right? To Dragon Ball, oh my God, are you as powerful as so-and-so's power? Oh no, that guy's power is more powerful than the power. And you have to say it like that too, and you move your lips in weird ways where, because that's how it's most fun. And as I said, it was adapted from a webcomic that went viral online before becoming a manga and an anime. Now, to just sort of, I don't know, finish the explanation of it all, the main character, Saitama, who's One Punch Man, he's just this kind of regular guy who's gotten very bored. It's interesting, within the second episode or whatever, like right after they introduce him, and every episode ends up with some like insane villain that he has to defeat. The designs are not always great, but often the designs are bad in a way that is great. And like I described to Aaron, one of the first or second episodes, there's this lobster guy who shows up and is like fucking with One Punch Man. And the top half of him is like a lobster, and he's got like the eyes like antennae that are like sticking out of his his sockets, and he's got like pincer claws and red, the red upper body looks very much like a lobster man. But his lower half, he just has bare, naked man legs that are hairy and tidy whitey underwear, like big, really big, obvious tidy whitey underwear right underneath his lobster outfit. Now, to say this isn't really a good look. Half lobster, half naked with white underwear on. It's like, it's terrible, but it's so terrible that it's fucking funny. and within the context too, it makes fun of itself. It's aware of he's aware of what he looks like, sort of thing. It is such a weird self-aware humor, and so within the second episode, he comes across this guy who like worships power, is trying to become more powerful, and he like meets One Punch Man. He's like, oh my God, you got to teach me. I'll be your disciple. And One Punch Man's like, oh, I don't know. And One Punch Man is like, his relationship with him he's sort of like doesn't want to be rude, so he's like, okay, yeah, but like he doesn't know what to say to this guy. Every now and then he's like saying things to him because he's like trying to impress him, but he doesn't even mean it. He's like, that's right, nailed it. There's a lot of inner dialogue that you'll hear, like them thinking about something in their head, total typical Stan Lee type writing. So in the early episodes, you get Dude and his sidekick, who's this cyborg dude. One Punch Man's got the cape, but he's got the yellow suit, and he's bald. And then his yellow-haired, yellow-eyed, cyborg-bodied friend is his sidekick. Well, when they try to, for whatever reason, like he realizes at a certain point, there's a villain who says, "I'd never heard of you," and he's very hurt. And this is what I mean about One Punch Man having some certain bit of like insecurity in like certain places, where it comes out. It's always very humorous, and he's like, she's right. Like people don't know who I am. Like I'm like one of those powerful people. I'm really good at this, but like nobody knows who the fuck I am. So they go and they register for the International Superhero Registry list. And because Dude does really good on the written test and he's very powerful, he ends up immediately in the bottom of the S class, which is very much where fucking One Punch Man should be. But because One Punch Man does so bad on the written test, he ends up in the very bottom of the C list, even though he could handily defeat every single person in this roster, period. He should be the number one. And now, through the course of the series, you watch him and his friend slowly climbing the ranks and start to meet some of these other characters. And I mean, these other characters are fucking insane. A lot of the designs are not awesome, but memorable. Despite it being weird and bizarre, like because they're also weird and bizarre that you're like, well, I'm never going to forget that. Like, I don't know if that's how I would have designed it, but like, God, it's funny, it's weird, it's grotesque, it's strange. They are really interesting, and just like the whole power structure and all these people who are built into the system already and how they cling to their scores and just like, their egos are so tied into where they are in the ranking. And Saitama, like he's Saitama, he just fucking shows up and whoops ass on everyone. And he has no ego because it's like ridiculous. At this point, it's like kind of stupid, man. I just beat everybody. I'd rather it be a little bit more difficult and somebody was here giving me a run for my money. It's awesome. Just really, really ironic and interesting. And it just puts all the like emotional stakes and whatnot into this really weird abstract place where it makes you think so many things that you don't necessarily think during similar types of exchanges. But the way it's handled here really has you evaluating it in a lot of different and more interesting ways than you normally would. So I'm going to watch the second season. I'm going to watch the third season. And with my kids, and I will probably come back, not necessarily next week, because I'll spread this out so that I can get the most amount of hype for it. But I really, really like this show, and I think that most people who are anybody who's a comic book fan will really like this show. And just there's so many kind of inside jokes going on to to the whole situation of like just superheroing and all this stuff, and they're very, very well done and done differently and more interestingly than I've necessarily seen them done in the past. So I'm gonna support this guy and champion him because really I think it's time for people like you and I to get into some of this anime. I know some of us, we've been holding out for a little while, but there's some great stuff. One Piece, the freaking live action was great. I can't wait to watch the second season. There's so many little things that I've been getting into here and there, and a lot of them have really been scratching that itch for me for great sci-fi and fantasy and all that other shit. So if any of the stuff that I said to you here today sounds like fun to you, you should check it out. Anyway, that's it. You can go. I love you guys. JBS at blacklightdistrict.studio if you need to get a hold of me. Thank you so much for listening to the end of this show. I will see you tomorrow celebrating one of my favorite comic books in recent memory on another fucking awesome episode of The Coolest Alive. Peace out, guys. You've been listening to Coolest Alive with me, your host, Jesse Blaze Snyder. Don't forget to rate, comment, and subscribe for more excellent entertainment recommendations. Thanks for listening.
It's gonna be fucking awesome. Come on. It's gonna be fucking awesome. You know the words. It's gonna be fucking awesome. That's it, see. It's gonna be fucking awesome. Yeah! It's my favorite part. Isn't that heavy? I'll play that. It's gonna be fucking awesome. Coolest alive. It's gonna be fucking awesome. Stay with your tribe. It's gonna be fucking awesome. Revenge of the Geeks. It's gonna be fucking awesome. Week after weeks. It's gonna be fucking awesome. Laughing with you. It's gonna be fucking awesome. And crying sometimes too. It's gonna be fucking awesome. Spelling it out. It's gonna be fucking awesome. Making you shout. I'm a genius. I got lyrics coming out me bum for days. You like that? It's a kazoo solo. I played that too. It's gonna be fucking awesome. Talking some shit. It's gonna be fucking awesome. Living your shit. My voice is fucking awesome. Food in our mouth. It's gonna be fucking awesome. Get in the mouth. It's gonna be fucking awesome. Tell all your friends. It's gonna be fucking awesome. Call right or text. It's gonna be fucking awesome. Raising the bar. It's gonna be fucking awesome. Straight to the stars. It's gonna be fucking awesome. It's starting soon. Straight to the top. Passing the moon. It's gonna be fucking awesome. On with the show. It's gonna be fucking awesome. Ready, set, go.
It's going to be fucking awesome. Fucking awesome. It's gonna be fucking awesome. Just wait. You'll see. You'll all see.
You'll all see.
The podcast playground. Hooray!